So the tenant of this room moved in about 2 months ago with a minimum term of 6 months, has just left. Now, she claims that this is because the property is at the front, the room is at the front of the property, and the noise on the street is too loud and it keeps her awake. Firstly, you can hear the noise. It's a quiet road. It's a nice residential area. Secondly, this room has always been here from the viewing, and we haven't moved the room from the property. So, she would have realized where the location of the room upon viewing before taking the room. That's her excuse. Really, from what I understand, I think she's got back with a partner and just didn't want to stay in the room anymore. Now, absolutely fine. This is just what happens. It's just part of the lettings business, is what lettings agents and landlords have to deal with. It's basically just part of the game. But it's not something that a lot of people talk about. So in a situation like this, what we'll do is we'll say, that's fair enough. It's not great, it's not ideal, but if you don't want to stay here, that's absolutely fine. You would continue to pay the rent until a suitable tenant, a replacement tenant, has been found, and until they've moved in. I think that's extremely fair. And then you would pay for any associated costs with the lettings and the moving in of the new tenant. So basically the lettings fee and any other associated costs. And then if they're happy, the tenant's happy with that, then we'll go and find a replacement tenant, and then they will continue to pay the rent until a new tenant has moved in, which is actually what we've done. So the new tenant here is going to move in here in about 2 days' time. We've just done checkout. I'm just here to make sure the room is in good order, and it is. We'll do a deep clean just to be sure. But yeah, this is something that really a lot of people don't talk about. It's situations like this. And, if a tenant, even though they're contractually obligated to stay the minimum term, if they don't want to stay, you really shouldn't be trying to keep a tenant where they don't want to be, or just people in general. You shouldn't be trying to keep people where they don't want to be. But obviously, it's not fair on the landlord either. The landlord has a lot of costs they need to pay, the mortgage, the bills, all that sort of stuff. It's not a charity. So as a lettings agent, the most fair thing to do is offer as a solution that the current tenant who wish to end their tenancy early is to continue to pay the rent until a new suitable tenant has moved in, and then the outgoing tenant has to pay whatever cost is associated with finding a new tenant and having them moved in, which is completely fair. Obviously, the question is then, how quick is are we able to source a new tenant? And that really depends on the outgoing tenant. If the room is presentable like this, and if the outgoing tenant is very cooperative, then actually it should be relatively straightforward. If they're not cooperative, or if they haven't looked after the property, then obviously that's not going to help them or help us find them a suitable tenant. So if you don't know me already, my name's Nguyen. We manage high quality HMOs and singlets in around Birmingham, and we're very hands-on with our services, and we do things like this. We just basically make sure that the household is ran well, and that really the landlord client is sheltered, protected from as many of these headaches as possible. And I'm actually also here to have a listen to the road. A few cars have gone forward and backwards. It's a room at the front of the house. Obviously there's going to be some noise, but I wouldn't say this is noisy. All this time we've been here, you've seen cars go forward and backwards. Do you think that's noisy? Anyway, let me know what you think. Hopefully it's been helpful. All right, see you.